presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me.
Hello NBA fans, welcome to this edition of Bucket Squad After Dark. This is the first episode and my name is Russell. Some of you probably know me as the guy who is sitting on the far right side in our first two episodes, which we have already made. Tonight I'm joined by a good friend of mine. Known him for a long time, and we've been trying to get him onto the show, but haven't been able to yet because of reasons beyond our control. And this is Neil.
Hi, what's up, guys?
Yeah, tonight we're going to talk about a few things. As you can tell by the title, this is our Super Bowl 50 recap / Hangover podcast, and we're also going to talk about some hoops. It's going to be a good one.
For sure.
Okay, so Super Bowl 50, the final score, Denver Broncos win by 24-10. I didn't screw that up, right?
Yep, 14-point win. Yeah, 24-10.
Yeah. Peyton Manning gets his second ring.
Yep.
Well deserved. And
yeah.
It wasn't that much of a passing game. It was kind of just a ground and pound game.
The game was pretty much based more on the defensive aspect than the offensive aspect, because if you look, Peyton Manning didn't have a great game. I think he only threw for like 100-something yards. I mean, that's not the greatest day for Peyton Manning. And he threw a pick. I mean, during the Super Bowl, not a great day. But both sides' defenses really stepped up, but in the end, it was the Broncos who had the advantage. And I was happy I picked the Broncos in the first place, so.
Yeah, I went with Carolina, and that didn't end well. Because the thing which concerned me about Carolina, and this is from the start of the season before they went on the really strong run, was when Kelvin Benjamin went down with the ACL injury,
right.
And I was thinking, oh boy,
right.
Ted Ginn time.
And Ted Ginn did well, I mean, at that wide receiving spot. He did well. But, I mean, they did have a strong receiving core because, I mean, they wouldn't have gone 15-1 otherwise. I mean, it was really good. And then I really think one of the biggest reasons they lost the Super Bowl is just they weren't ready. I mean, a lot of people argued that back in, I think it was 2011 when the Niners got to the NFC Championship game against the Giants. You know, a lot of people weren't surprised that they lost because, you know, they weren't mature enough at that point. And the next year they did get to the Super Bowl. Now, I think experience on the team, I think only 6 players on the Panthers actually had Super Bowl experience as compared to the 16 on the Broncos, and that really speaks volumes when it comes to leadership in the locker room. So I think that had a strong effect. And, I mean, I saw the first pass that Cam Newton threw. It was very uncharacteristic of him to throw a pass so high over one of his receivers. So nerves are certainly a factor, and they didn't have enough of that leadership to, you know, ever settle Cam Newton in.
Yeah, I feel that way too. The Broncos defense just really got to Carolina during the game. And I saw a statistic that every single team that made it to the Super Bowl and had the league's leading defense won the Super Bowl that year.
Oh, wow.
With the exception of last year's Seahawks, which I don't want to talk about because I'm a Seattle fan. I just want to throw that out there for our audience that I have been a Seattle fan since Matt Hasselbeck, based god Hasselbeck, was our quarterback.
Oh.
So I'm pre-2012, pre-Beastquake. That was a great moment in Seahawks history. And I really hope that he doesn't retire. I really hope he has a change of heart. If he doesn't, then best wishes to him in the future. And it was not a surprise at all to me that he made the decision to hang him up.
Well, Marshawn Lynch, man, beast mode. Yeah. It was at 29 years old. It was pretty crazy.
Yes.
But he did have a great deal of health issues throughout the recent season. I mean, but I think there was an abdominal issue, I think.
Yes.
And I mean, at 29 years old, he could run low to the ground with power. I mean, you see such power when Marshawn Lynch runs. That's why he's beast mode. And that's why so many people criticized Russell Wilson for not handing it off to him in the first place, and for Pete Carroll obviously not calling or approving the right play.
Yeah, well, that last play, I could go on a rant about it. I still want to say that Ricardo Lockett could have gone harder to the ball, but that's argument for another day.
No, I think the ball was thrown far to left, but yeah, that was a year ago.
Yeah, I'm over it now. I'm living. We discovered Thomas Rawls out of nowhere.
Thomas Rawls, he's solid, man.
Except I didn't get the chance
Solid.
to pick him up in fantasy. He was like snatched up the same day, and I was pissed off.
I got him. I picked him up, but then I think he broke his foot.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
So,
it was kind of pointless, yeah.
but I got D'Angelo Williams, so that saved my
Okay,
season.
yeah.
But I didn't make the playoffs, so it was whatever.
Stunk was I had Jamal Charles also,
Oh
and he
lord.
tore his ACL.
Yeah.
My team had a bunch of because I won the year before, but yeah, this year I didn't win. I made the playoffs, but I lost first round.
Yeah. Oh well, fantasy football. Creator of many arguments. In the first quarter, I'd like to say it was the first quarter, Jericho Cotchery had initially it was called an incomplete pass, and then Ron Rivera challenged, and then Mike Carey, the officiating expert for CBS, said, oh, yeah, great challenge by Ron Rivera, they are going to overturn it and call it a completed pass, and then in reality the refs said no.
Actually, when I saw that, no, I knew it was incomplete. I didn't hear the broadcast. I mean, I didn't hear what the announcer had to say, but when he went down with the ball, right, he didn't
Yes.
have full possession as he was rolling around and getting into, a uniform non-moving position. He did not have full control. I think that was the correct call, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, it could be, but I wasn't sure.
Because you
at
could
the
kind of
time.
see when he went down, the ground kind of knocked it a little loose, and by the time, when he was fully down, he did not have full control. And then he got his full control.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it was...
Either way, there just
And
wasn't enough evidence to let go
And
for
the thing with the
overturn it.
NFL is once you make a call, it's difficult to overturn it. So if it was called a complete
Yeah.
catch, for all we know, it would have stood either way. Just because it's just very difficult to
there-
go either way.
There was undisputable evidence. Like, there was no way you could, like, dispute it, like,
It's
properly.
Yeah, it's difficult. It was close. It was close.
Von Miller just destroyed Cam Newton.
Oh, big time.
Like, what he and the Denver Broncos defense did. And the thing was that Carolina was still in it because it was only 16-10 in the fourth quarter with like 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden that's when I believe it was Von Miller that stripped it.
It
from
was.
Cam.
And then DeMarcus
Yes.
Ware went for it. Got it.
Yeah. And then he backed up from the ball, and I was
Oh,
wondering,
God.
what are you doing?
I saw that, and I'm like, it's the Super Bowl. You gotta jump for that ball.
Yeah, I know. And why he didn't, I don't know.
I don't know. I think he had an interview I didn't watch explaining why, but I mean, I can't see any logical reason to not. It's the Super Bowl. You jump for that ball.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta do what you can, like, to win. I mean, what else can
Yeah.
we really say?
Because I know DeMarcus Ware got his hand on it, but then I think if Cam Newton dove, he could have easily gotten full possession. Because DeMarcus Ware just had one hand on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, gotta credit the Denver defense. Like, my God, every time, it was really amazing when Von Miller would make a amazing defensive play. I see DeMarcus Ware right there, picking things up, just making the perfect following action. It was amazing how well they worked. The fluidity of their defense was amazing, and Wade Phillips ran a great defense, very simple defense. I know Von Miller, DeMarcus, they say it's so simple, but it's incredibly effective. And that's why they did so well, and Carolina just was not ready.
Yeah. Well, the Carolina defense held its own, and, when the offense needed to show up for Carolina,
They did.
it
They
just
did.
wasn't there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, agreed.
Halftime show was impressive.
To be honest, I was playing football during the halftime show. I did not watch it.
Oh, you didn't even see that?
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else you can really say. Beyonce, she did her thing, killed it, as usual.
Yeah.
That's totally not a biased opinion, by the way. Moving on.
Well, Queen Bee, can't deny.
Queen Bee, yeah. Did you see any of the commercials by chance?
Oh yeah, I think two of the ones that I really liked. First was the one with Kevin Hart, and he had
Oh yeah.
his daughter and the boyfriend, or the guy, came to take her on a date.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart stalked him like mad. Oh god, that was actually a really funny commercial.
My favorite, and this was a lot of other people's favorites, was the Doritos
Yep.
commercial.
I was just gonna mention that Doritos never fails to impress every year.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's all I have to say.
The
really,
baby.
just that commercial. Yeah.
The baby.
Oh, yeah, and
where
then-
the chips were. Oh god.
Speaking of babies, there is also the puppy monkey baby one for Mountain Dew. Did you?
You know what? Yeah, I did see that. I remember that.
Y-
Yeah,
You saw that one?
I think I did.
So you
And
you know how
I
creepy
remember-
that was.
Yeah. Well, you have to be creative. I think I know. Like, if you want a commercial during the Super Bowl, you have to pay like $5 million
Yeah.
just to get a spot. It used to be like $1 million. Now it's
Yeah,
$5
like
million.
30-second commercial. You gotta pay $5 million. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Did you see Cam Newton's post-game interview? It seemed like he was salty. It didn't seem very humble at all compared to like the positive attitude that he showed throughout the season.
And I mean, the thing is, like, I can't entirely blame him. I mean, I don't like. If he could have done it better, obviously I wish he did.
Yeah.
But I can't wholeheartedly blame him. It's his first. Have such a great season, then you lose the most important game of all. I mean, you can't blame him for being angry and not wanting to talk. And I don't really think it was from a arrogance standpoint. I think it was just more of, I can't blame the guy for not wanting to talk to anyone. I think the NFL rule is you have to talk to the media for at least 3 minutes. So he did the minimum and said, okay, I'm done. I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have been getting one-word answers after the Super Bowl. I mean, last year, Russell Wilson, after he lost, he talked normally. I mean, but you could argue he's already won a Super Bowl, so he didn't have as much at stake. But I mean, sure, you could have wished he would have been more professional, but I don't think you can blame him at the same time. You can't blame the guy. I mean, he just lost one of the biggest games of his life for the first time. To be honest, I don't think you could blame him. And it stems from a lack of maturity. I mean, coming from, he's never lost a Super Bowl before, never even been to a Super Bowl before, so I don't think he necessarily knew how to act in all facets. I mean, he gave good interviews throughout the week. It was just that
Yeah,
one, really.
I just really think that he was depressed by the fact that he had just lost the biggest game of his life. I mean, he could have handled it a little better, but I'm not going to hold it against him, like how he acted.
Certainly, yeah, I agree. And I think he'll learn from it. I mean, yeah.
Are you down with Osweiler? Because what if Peyton Manning retires? I mean, it's a bigger if than we all think. I mean, he might actually stay, but to be honest, if you're Peyton Manning, why would you still stick around? Wouldn't you want to just go out right into the sunset after winning a Super Bowl? I mean, isn't that the perfect ending?
I agree. And the thing is, if Peyton stays, a lot of people are saying, oh, the Broncos would trade him over to the Rams, which is actually quite possible because, I mean, Peyton Manning's not the youngest guy in the world. And, 39 years old right now?
Yes.
So a lot of people are saying, well, if Peyton Manning does choose to stay in the NFL, which I don't think he's going to do. I think actually any day now he might announce his retirement. But, if he does choose, I think it's very well possible for Denver to trade him to St. Louis because, not St. Louis anymore, but L.A.
Yeah.
Because, they need a good quarterback because Nick Foles didn't have the hottest season last year. And, I don't think he would do that because, I don't think Peyton Manning wants to look like... He doesn't want to taint his reputation because, Brett Favre, the great quarterback that he has just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. A lot of people say that, his reputation was tainted because he hopped over from team to team after, the Packers went to the Vikings and that didn't turn out so well then. He got all these injuries, all that kind of stuff. So... but what's Denver going to do? I think they probably trade him to St. Louis. Not sure if they'd start Brock Osweiler. Maybe they'd even take a run at getting Cap from the Niners or maybe just getting a quarterback from the draft. But I don't see them keeping Peyton Manning because, if you think about it, his Super Bowl performance wasn't spectacular. Up to Week 17 when he was able to play off the bench for Brock Osweiler, he threw, threw like a lot of picks. He wasn't his completion percentage was low. It just wasn't his best season. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they choose to send him to St. Louis. Not saying that they would, but the chance is there. But I do think Peyton's going to end up, just riding off into the sunset with the second ring on his finger.
Yeah.
I see it happening.
I think that would be the best option for him at this point.
Certainly.
And shout out to your boy Vernon Davis. He got a ring. He didn't do anything, but he got a ring.
Yeah, well, I mean, no. Well, okay, look, it's not necessarily that he didn't do anything. He wasn't targeted fine, but he was he was blocking down there. He was making opportunities. You can't say that he didn't do anything because he certainly did.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he's gonna stay in Denver. Like, he's gonna go somewhere else. But hey, Super Bowl ring. I'm gonna take it. Why not?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Super Bowl 50. I mean, a lot of people called it boring, and I guess from like the standpoint of an average fan who's expecting an offensive Odell Beckham catch falling out of bounds every 2 plays, it was boring to them, but I found it very interesting to watch how the defense was able to shut down both opposing offenses.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, the game wasn't. I think the Super Bowl the year before was certainly more entertaining.
Yes.
I mean, it really came down to the wire.
Mhm.
But it was just amazing to see such powerful defenses at work. I mean, really amazing.
Did you go to Super Bowl City by chance?
I wasn't able to, and I wanted to.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to as well. I think. Did you say you went to Levi's? I don't remember.
I did go to Levi's. I visited. It was really cool. To see all of the Super Bowl. I mean, they set up this big Super Bowl little, like, not necessarily a dome, but like a big entrance to the stadium, says Super Bowl 50 in big letters. That was really cool. And just the entire area around it was just really well laid out, well set up, and it was just a spectacle to see because I mean, the Super Bowl doesn't come to town often. So it was just great to see, and then I don't know, just really cool, all the various decorations, Super Bowl 50 for the Panthers, for the Broncos. Just really great experience having gone there.
Who knows? Maybe in a few years we'll be doing it again, hopefully, and maybe then I'll have the money to burn to actually go to it.
They're saying that they project the Super Bowl to come back to Levi's in 2024.
Oh, so 8 years. Okay, great. I have 8 years to get my life together. Okay. We hope you enjoyed listening to part 1 of the first episode of Bucket Squad After Dark. As always, feel free to like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter and SoundCloud, as well as YouTube, for more original content and analysis from us in the future. Hope to see you again soon. Have a good night.